Hello everyone, it's Cam from Arsenal Theory, and we're going to be going into the Flo Balogun news that's been breaking throughout the day. Inter Milan have apparently put him at the top of their list for their new striker replacement because they're not signing Lukaku from Chelsea, so they need someone to go up front. And apparently Balogun is top of the list. I could see why. He's a young player. He's 22. He completely, smashed it in the French league, scored over 20 goals. So, yeah, I could see why they'd want to make a move for him. He's one of the most exciting young strikers in European football at the moment. It's just a shame. It's just a shame he can't get a chance at Arsenal. The issue at the moment seems to be the fee, and it made me wonder, what's he really worth? And the answer to that is, well, he's worth what someone's willing to pay. And apparently, Arsenal have slapped a £50 million fee down, and no one's willing to pay that at the moment. And that £50 million is an interesting fee, actually, because I do think if someone came in and bid, say, 45 million for Eddie Nketiah, I would think we would take it. So are Arsenal saying that Balogun's better than Eddie or is worth more than Eddie? And if that's the case, why are we selling Balogun? Why aren't we selling Eddie and keeping Flo? But I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that Balogun wants to be playing first team football week in, week out. I'm not sure how guaranteed that would be at Inter, but he's probably got more chance of starting for Inter than he has for Arsenal. Such a shame he never really got a chance to kind of show what he could do in an Arsenal shirt. You look at all the chances Nketiah had, Balogun just didn't get them, and then he had to go out on loan. So it's one of those things where it was always going to happen with Arsenal. Had this progression where we were going to lose players because players need to play. The team's at a certain level where you really need top quality to be able to improve the team. And if Balogun had come through a couple of seasons earlier, or maybe 2 seasons later, maybe the situation would be different for him. But that's not how it's gone, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately, I mean we should get good money for him, but I really wanted to see him do the business as an Arsenal shirt because I really think he's capable of doing it, and I think he's much more capable than Nketiah. But it's looking like he's going to go. It's just a case of agreeing that fee with Inter, and I don't know how. Apparently, actually, there's been rumours that Palace are looking at Eddie Nketiah as well. So if we sold Nketiah and Balogun, then we definitely need to bring someone else in. I know we're looking at Kudus from Ajax, but he's more of a winger. Someone described him as like a cross between Thomas Partey and Bukayo Saka. That just sounds incredible. But we'll see what happens with that one. Um, but for Balogun, what an opportunity! To go and play for Inter. Just got to the Champions League final, could have won it. There are plenty of opportunities there, but Lukaku missed them all. So what can you do? Um, I can see why he's trying to push the move through, and like I said, it's just such a shame in terms of the timing. But we're seeing that with Patino. We're seeing it with players like Trusty as well to a certain degree, and we're seeing it now with Balogun and potentially even with Eddie. Potentially even with Eddie. So they're obviously they want to stick with Jesus up front. Um, but I do personally think we could do a major upgrade there, but maybe it's just not the right time at the moment. I mean, even if Balogun came back and said, look, I want to stay and fight for my place, I'm not sure the club would even necessarily want to keep him in that scenario. And it's difficult for him because he's got Eddie in front of him and he's got Jesus. And you've even got Trossard that can kind of play up there as well. So it's an awful lot of competition, and he can't he can't be playing kind of like 15 games next season, and with five of them coming off the bench. He needs to be playing 30 plus games. So I don't know if we do a deal with Inter if you're going to be able to do like a buyback or a sell on or anything. I think that would be hard to do with a club like that. If he was going to maybe like a West Ham or maybe even potentially a Brighton, possibly like a lower level team, then you might be able to wangle something there. Actually, just before I made this video, I did see something online that apparently Monaco have actually started taking a look at him as well. So, but I don't see Monaco forking out that kind of money for Balogun. So an interesting time for him. I hope he gets his. If he wants to get a move, I hope he gets it, and hopefully the club will get some big spondoolies in return, so we can reinvest it. That can help go towards the Raya deal or this Kudus deal that we're looking at. The Kudus deal sounds interesting because it sounds like it's almost like a Saka backup, and to put pressure on Saka as well. But we've also got Reece. We've re-signed Reece Nelson, so there's a lot of bodies there. I don't know how that's all gonna play out, unless we've just signed Nelson just so that we can sell him and get some money. But I'd be surprised if that's the case. He's a hard player to get rid of. Each transfer window comes up, he seems to get injured, and I can't believe he's still around. So there was some stuff also online that, even though Thomas Partey, people have been talking within the club how positive they are about Thomas Partey, there's also rumours that he is still available for sale at the right price, and apparently Smith Rowe, which obviously, if you know me, I don't want that to happen. So I think there's still some twists and turns to go before the end of the window. So moving on, we've got a game tomorrow. So yeah, we're playing Monaco, oddly enough. Tomorrow, I think it's a 6 o'clock kickoff. I'm going to miss the game, unfortunately, because I'm going to be seeing my dad. But I'll hopefully catch the highlights online, and really looking forward to that. Nice warm up before the big one on Sunday of the Charity Shield. I've seen pictures of Declan Rice in training, so that's positive because it sounded like he'd taken quite a bit of a whack in training. I was actually wondering who that was. My money's on Rob Holding, but who knows? So hopefully Declan could make his debut at the carpet, and that would be great for him and great for the fans that are able to go, and get some more minutes before the weekend. And I've had a brief look at how some of the other clubs have been getting on with the friendly games, and it's not pretty reading if you're a United fan. I mean, I know they beat Arsenal, but they've lost like 3 games now, I think. They lost to Wrexham, but I don't know if that really counts because it was like an under-20 team or under 21 team. But obviously they got beat by Madrid, and then Dortmund beat them 3-2 as well. And there's been lots of clips, you've probably seen them, of Onana really laying into Maguire. When I don't even think Maguire did anything wrong in the situation where Dortmund got a shot off. They didn't score, but they managed. There was a mistake in defence. But I don't really think it was Maguire's fault. But let's see if he's got that energy for when Bruno Fernandes doesn't track back or does something, not helpful to the team. And then let's see what happens when he gives Fernandes an earful and the fallout from that. I don't think it's going to be pretty. So, Ten Hag was like, hey, we don't do friendlies. No, but you've done 3 defeats now. So maybe you need to change something up. I can't quite believe the level of, what's the word? Not forgiveness, but the United fans seem to give Ten Hag a lot of rope. They seem to give him a lot of rope. They seem to definitely give him the benefit of the doubt. And I suppose maybe it's because they were just so starved of having a top-class manager, because obviously Solskjaer wasn't really that, even though he did actually get 2nd place with the team. I suppose they're just desperate for them, and they're just so glad to have someone in charge who's competent and knows what he's doing, which he definitely is. And I'm not saying he's a bad manager, but 3 defeats isn't great, and he had some proper beatings last season. And if they carry on, then the pressure's really going to be turned up. Actually, apparently, Man United showed interest in Balogun as well, but that would be a very difficult deal for United to do with Arsenal. The amount of money you would need to make it feasible for Arsenal to sell him to United, it just wouldn't be worth it for Man U, even with their deep pockets. So, there you go. Anyway, shorter one today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye bye.